always a good day when you get to do 100 miles an hour. Hello guys, and welcome back to the VolksWizard channel. Today's a very big day because after a year of trying, I finally get to drive Hyundai's i20N. Now, I've been a bit unsure about the i30N, but I do prefer smaller cars, and I think the i20N is the perfect size for a hot hatchback. It's a little bit bigger than an GTI, but it's smaller than a Golf GTI. It is a direct rival to the Polo GTI, but then it's so different. And actually, compared to the i30N, I think the i20N works better in white. It doesn't need to be in that trademark blue colour to look great. So today I'm going to give you a quick tour of the car. I'm going to give you my opinions on it. I've only got like 20 minutes with the car, so it's not going to be the most in-depth, but I will learn a lot and hopefully you will learn a lot. So firstly, let's have a quick tour around the outside of the Hyundai i20N. Well guys, what do we think then? It's quite a busy design. We've got some red on the calipers, red around the bottom of the car, at least on the side, yeah, and the back as well. We've got some grey wheels, red calipers. We've got a contrast roof. We've got this spoiler, which I think makes the car, and it just reminds me of the rally car that's done so well. Single oval exhaust on the back there, diffuser, a centre fog light, which looks really cool. A bit of red joining the rear lights, which always looks good on any car. And the stance of it's really good. It's got a beefy rear bumper, which kind of flares out a bit. Nice N logo down here on this sort of rubberized sill cover. That's what you need down there, really. You don't really need it to be painted. Yeah, I like it a lot. And this is a standard car. There are no options on it, apart from the only option you can buy, I think, is metallic paint and the sound system. And I'm not sure if this is metallic. I think it said on the spec sheet it was. But yeah, I would probably actually go for white over the blue, because I think the blue's a bit sort of passé now. Big grille. Lot of cooling going on behind there. Yep, it's a 1.6 litre engine, 204 horsepower, fog lights in there. Yeah, design wise, I think they've nailed it. It's a lot more aggressive than the Polo GTI. There is room, Volkswagen, for another model above the Polo GTI that gives this car a bit of a run when it comes to the exterior styling. Inside then, this is where Hyundais tend to fall down. And it is a little bit plasticky and a bit Japanese from the sort of, I don't know, I always think of the 1990s, but let's give it a chance. And Volkswagen's interior quality ain't all that these days, so yeah, door card looks a little bit cheap. There's a bit of colour there, it's probably ambient lighting. That's plastic. Yeah, it is a cheap car though. I think it's about £26,000. The seats are good, N logo there in Alcantara, not sort of stitched. Bit of colour there, contrast stitching. Floor mats with the N logo and contrast stitching ×2. N buttons on the steering wheel, and that's the rev match function, which is really, really cool, which we'll try later on. Let's just get inside. Gear knob. It looks a bit sort of old-fashioned, reminds me of the Mark 1 TT. Probably because the designer maybe designed the TT. There's a lot of plastic here that's not particularly impressive. Screen's quite a nice size. Start-stop button is hidden, but you'll get to know where it is. Digital cockpit. Yeah, quite a good resolution on that screen. Black headlining for that sporty look. Although I must stop doing German accents because this is not a German car. Yeah, I mean, you know, it is, I think, one of Hyundai's smallest, probably second smallest cars. So it's not going to be super premium, but they have made an effort, and it is, you know, a cheap car. Nice aluminium sill covers there. Contrast stitching on the gaiter. Lots of knobs here. So we've got cameras for the parking sensors off, driving modes, heated seats, and all this is standard. 2 USBs. Buttons for your climate control. I know you all love that. The steering wheel, yeah, it's quite chunky, maybe a little bit too chunky. And in typical sort of Far Eastern style, we have the headlamps on the stalks. And yeah, well, you get used to that, don't you? At least the indicators, I think, are on the correct side, unlike they used to be. Okay, so yeah, it's all right in here. It's all right. Okay, let's have a look in the back. And it doesn't look particularly expensive. Some of the plastics are a bit nasty, a bit shiny. But we've got a USB port down there, full-size one. Again, still got some colour on the seats. It's all right. We have to remember it is a cheap cheap car. Nice i20 in there. How do we open the boot then? Oh yeah, there's a not very, oh yeah, there's a button there. Okay, boot, again, cheap plastics, cheap-ish carpets, but lots of space, no spare wheel, but there's enough space in there for most people. Split fold seats, 60/40. I suppose we better have a quick look under the bonnet, and it's on the correct side, yay. There we have it, 1.6 GDI, and a nice bit of colour on there, very Audi, which we don't see on Volkswagens now. That's cool. I'm not sure what happened to that foam there though. It looks a bit damaged, but it could just be the way it is. Yeah, okay. And the beauty of today, even though it's a short bit of time with the car, we have Millbrook's Hill Course here available to us with this hot hatch. I cannot wait to drive it. Okay guys, well, it's a manual car. Clutch feels actually quite beefy for a small car like this, which is good. And we better sort out the mode. Yeah, put it in N mode. And let's get on the hill then. Golf R, 20 years. A nice bit of turbo whine, bit of character. So we're restricted to 55 miles an hour here, but in this car, on this course, I think that's fine. Avoid these humps. Although they're a handy test of the suspension, it is a stiff car, and it's passive dampers. Down to 20 miles an hour here. And then this is a testing corner, so get the nose in on the gas, and yes. Yeah, it's not the punchiest car in the world, but 204 horsepower, more than a Mark 5 Golf GTI. It's a lot lighter, and nobody ever complained that the Mark 5 was slow. I've never driven this car before, and I feel already at home. There's definitely a bit of rear activity. It's stiff, but thankfully the wheels are pretty small. I don't think they're massive, so we've got Pirellis on them, by the way, which maybe not the best tyre. Shifted lovely. It's got quite a long throw, but it's precise. Yeah, brakes. Oh, did you hear that auto blip? I like that. I'm not very good at heel and towing. I must learn. I must wear smaller shoes for a start. Into second for this one. Down into the banking, and we're off. I would say at Hyundai there is room to do a little bit more powerful version of this car, because it feels well sorted, really well sorted. Piling into this downhill corner, it's good. Up over the jump, we'll probably land on the Golf. Into second. That auto blip thing is brilliant. Out of the corner, lovely. And there's quite a lot of mechanical noise, turbo noise. Kind of wasn't expecting that. It sounds old school, and I don't think that's a bad thing. We've got 10 more minutes. That means we're going to go on the high-speed bowl. So we're going to do 100 miles an hour in the i20N, see if it works as a, you know, a motorway car as well. It's certainly fun on that hill route. And then we can conclude if it's worth the money and the sort of relatively budget interior. Okay, so we're still in second gear as we get onto the bowl, and that takes us to 61 or 62 miles an hour, funnily enough. So this car's 0 to 60 must be at the top end of second gear, which might explain why it's quite quick. Whoa! Okay, let's get in the fourth lane then, 100 miles an hour. Be in that Golf R. This surface is not perfect, and because it's quite firm, oh, let's just see the three numbers light up. 100. It's always a good day when you get to do 100 miles an hour. Okay, let's move into this lane and just peg back a bit. So you're probably going to be cruising at around 70 miles an hour. We're in 6 top gear. This is 85 for you guys in Germany, and it's about 3 and a bit thousand RPM, 3, 4. And it's alright, actually. There's a bit of a boom. I think it's quite refined when it comes to wind noise, but actually a lot of this is thrumming from the engine, but then, you know, it's not going to be like a limo at these kind of speeds. It's perfectly fine, and the ride is, I'd say, just about alright. See how it feels doing direction changes then, so lane changes 85 miles an hour. Again, that's one benefit of the harder suspension. It feels alright, hardly any steering needed to change lane here, but then to come back it needs a bit more, and it feels super safe. Brakes. Yes, that's a really, really nice pedal, that, really nice. Yeah, it's good. Now, I was actually thinking about buying one of these maybe about a year ago to just bring it to the channel, bring something new, but all the second-hand ones were more than new and there was a big waiting list. But I will definitely revisit it in the future. I will be much more likely to buy this car than that car. You may be kind of surprised to learn. So yeah, i20N, old school hot hatch thrills, old school hot hatch pricing. What more could you want? As ever guys, thanks for watching this volkswizard video. Sorry it's not as well produced as my usual ones, but hopefully you'll get more of a sense of my enthusiasm for this car because it's really filmed on the fly. As ever, keep subscribing, keep commenting, and I'll see you for the next one very soon.